Hi, sir. We are very pleased to welcome you on Tourism.tv. France and South Africa have just shared a great year of exchange. What is or what are now the issues for you?
The French season in South Africa was a huge success, and equally the South African season in France. But obviously, initially it was seen as strengthening the relationship, which it certainly did over the past 2 years. But for us, it is continuing that initiative, not only at the level of government to government, but at the level of people to people. And that is why it will be continued by municipalities in South Africa, towns, and with towns in France, but also at the level of NGOs in South Africa, with NGOs here. It is important that that initiative continue.
We had a lot of emotion with the death of Nelson Mandela. It was a worldwide event. How do you preserve and promote the heritage of Nelson Mandela in South Africa?
Nelson Mandela was one of those people that only come around every few generations in the world, not only in a country, in the world. And in South Africa, we were extremely privileged to have him at a time when we needed him. This year, in 2014, we are celebrating 20 years of democracy in South Africa. We became a democracy in 1994. He was our first president. And we would have liked him to be part of this 20 years of celebrations. He made 19 of those 20 years. And we were privileged to have him for 19 of those 20. Obviously, his legacy will continue, and from a tourism perspective, very soon we will announce an initiative where we will highlight his steps from his birth to when he passed away. And obviously, it is not to exploit it in a negative sense, but to share what he was and his legacy with the world.
Talking about the tourism policy in South Africa, what are your main targets for the 2 next years?
Over the last few years, we have done extremely well. When the rest of the world went into negative growth with the economic slowdown, South Africa continued with positive growth. And obviously, the World Cup FIFA 2010, it helped us. But we are still outcompeting all our competitors. It is because we have a balanced strategy, continuing to sell South Africa as a safari destination, but understanding that we have much more to offer. Contemporary urban life, gastronomy, culture, business tourism now, conventions, all of that are part of what we offer. But also a balance in terms of our portfolios. We continue to have a presence in the United States, in Europe, in France, very important to us. And unlike many other countries who withdrew from these markets and decided to only focus on the new emerging markets, China and India, we are here and we will be here for the long term. But we also regard Africa as a very important market. The middle class on the African continent, bigger than the middle class in India. So for us, it is United States and Europe, but also China and India and Africa.
South Africa Tourism has just opened one office in other countries of Africa. Talking about the targets, do you want more tourists, people to spend more money? What is exactly your purpose?
Yes. We know that many countries measure their success only by the number of tourists that visit them. So it is important, we want the numbers visiting us, but the spend and how they stay, that's very important. And I think all of us in the world actually should move to a new metrics, how we measure the success of tourism. From our point of view as South Africa, it cannot only be measured in terms of numbers, but it must be measured in terms of spend, because that is what grows the economy and that is what creates jobs.
One word about the French market. What does it represent for you as the Ministry of Tourism?
Of course, it represents to us economic growth. It represents to us jobs for people who work in our hotels, guest houses, restaurants. But the French market is something more. There's a long history between South Africa and France. And that brings a unique dimension to this relationship. And that is why when the numbers from France and from the rest of Europe didn't look too good and other countries gave up hope, we decided not to give up hope. And I must say, if I look at the figures now, for the first few months last year, January to September, 7.6% growth. So that proves that we were right to stay in the French market.
Thank you very much for answering our questions, and see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.